Meanwhile, after taking a short break since I have been finished reading the first three parts of Goosebumps, Monster Blood for Breakfast by R.L Stine. He was the one of the American writer of the Goosebumps series. So, I am so glad you enjoyed it so far. Seems quite a lot spooky and creepy, mostly haunting. But it's perfect for Halloween. Guess we're all looking forward to Halloween already. I can't believe it's gone so quick. So, shall we continue on halfway through for this story, horror fiction of Goosebumps? Now, I'm going to start reading on page 88. Now, like exactly as before, sit back, relax and enjoy. Yes, I made it home. I crept up to the kitchen door and peered through my window. No sign of Mum. I pushed the door, I opened the door and jumped inside. The kitchen was warm and smelled of chocolate. I was never so happy to be here. I checked out the living room and the den. No one there. I knew Livy was at her friend Mother's house. Was Mom at the swim meet, waiting for me to complete in my next event? I couldn't think about that now. I had to think about only one thing: finding an antidote to the monster blood, shrinking myself back to my good old 5 feet tall, too. The house looked so small, I knew I wouldn't even fit at the kitchen table. I humbered up to my room. My huge legs were still aching from my mad dash home. I shut my eyes before I stepped into my room. Please, let the ivy plant be back to its normal size. No, it stretched along the ceiling, its big leaves shading the ceiling light. My bed cracked as I dropped onto it. One of my legs fell off. I sighed. I was too heavy for my own bed. Wait, I have an idea. Maybe Bradley could help me. I remember what he said. When he first showed me the monster blood, the green plastic egg came inside the box. Did Bradley save the box? Maybe he had the instructions on how to get small again. My mobile sat next to my iPod docking station on the nightstand. I grabbed it up and flipped it open. I knew Bradley's mobile number by heart. I jabbed at the keys, jabbed and poked. Oh no! My finger was too big. It hit 3 or 4 keys at once. I let go an angry shout and heaved the phone against the wall. I have to go next door and see him, I decided, but I can't go in these towels. I opened my closet. My eyes frantically raced over my clothes, all too small. Then I remembered my dad's big old raincoat. He found it at the thrift shop and wore it as a joke. He always said it was big enough for 2 people. Did Mom keep it? Was it still in the closet in the basement? The stairs creaked and cracked under my weight as I lumbered downstairs. I found the old raincoat in the basement closet. It stunk of mothballs, but I didn't care. I pulled it around me and tied the belt. The huge coat fitted perfectly. I pulled my bulky body up the stairs. My feet were so big, they poked over the steps. Bradley, I hope you are home, I muttered, and I hope you kept that monster blood box. I pulled open the front door and let out the Shrek. The two men dressed in black. They cried out, too, when they saw me, and back off the porch, gaping at me. You're 10 feet tall, one of them gasped. At first, I startled to see them, frightened, but I quickly realized how they could help me. They were just the help I need. Look at me, I cried. I'm a giant freak, I admit it. I have what you have been looking for. They started at me with their mouths open. They didn't say the word. I have the monster blood. I'm boomed. Look what it did to me. Did you know how to help me? My big voice cracked. Please help me, I cried. I promise. I'll give the monster blood back. They both narrowed their eyes at me. Monster blood? One of them said. What on earth is monster blood? It was my turn to stare at them with my mouth hanging open. Monster blood, I finally choked out, the stuff you want me to return. They exchanged glances. We don't know anything about that, the man with all the rings said. We work for the company that makes the gas attack cans. A bad batch was sent out. His partner said, it's way too smelly. It can make people really ill. Did you order it? The first man asked. We'll give you your money back. And I let out a long sigh. These men were not going to help me at all. You've got the wrong guy, I said, shaking my head sadly. My neighbour ordered the gas attack. We already used it. It was disgusting, but we are okay. So we bothered you, Ring Fingers men said. They turned and hurried to their car. As he pulled open the door, he shouted back at me. Good luck, kid. Ever think of playing basketball? Haha, very funny. I watched them drive away. Then I tightened the raincoat bolt and ran across the front garden to Bradley's home. Ow! I let out a cry as my hand bumped a low tree branch. Whoa, guess you have to duck a lot when you are 9 feet tall. I climbed the porch and pounded on Bradley's front door. You've got to have that box, I muttered. You've got to have the instructions. Bradley pulled open the door. His eyes bulged in horror and he let the terrified Shrek. A giant! He wailed. Get away. Now, I'm calling the police. No, I stammered. He slammed the door in my face. It's not me. No, it's me. I pounded the front door again with my fists. The door cracked. I saw the hinges fly off, and the door fell in with a third. I didn't know my own strength. I heard a deafening siren, the burglar alarm. Bradley stood there, trembling in the front hall. Eyes still bulging. He started to back away. Bradley, it's me. I shouted over the blaring alarm siren. It's Matt. The monster blood did this to me. You've got to help me. He squinted me. He squinted up at me. Matt? He squeaked. Really? I thundered over to him. Where is the monster blood box? Bradley, do you still have the box? I might. He stammered. Up in my room. He turned and began running up the stairs. I tried to follow him up, but crash! My head bumped the ceiling. No way I could fit on the stairs. The burglar alarm continued to blare, rising and falling. I stared up to the second floor. Do you have it? Can you find it? And then I heard other sirens from out on the street. The police, they must be responding to the burglar alarm. I froze in panic. Bradley, hurry! I screamed. I can't let the police see me like this. Crazy thoughts flew through my head. What if they thought I was the giant from outer space? What if they shot first and asked questions later? I had to get out of there. Here, I spun away from the stairs. I saw 2 police patrol cars pull to the curb in front of the house. Bradley, where are you? I screamed. Bradley. 3 uniformed cops raced the front walk, ducking under the ceiling light. I took off to the back of Bradley's house. Police officers, a deep voice shouted from a burst front door. Did they see me? I heaved open the kitchen door and crept across the garden towards my house. Halfway there, I heard footsteps, heavy breathing. A shadow came up from behind mine on the grass. The police. No! I spun around to face them. Hey, Bradley, it's you, I cried. I have got the box, Bradley whispered. He held it up to me. A green box with monster blood in dripping real letters. Come on, hurry, I said. I ran to my kitchen door. I pulled it open and ducked my head to go inside. Huh? Wait, I froze in surprise. I didn't have to duck. I fitted into a doorway. I grabbed the door and held on tight. Something was pulling me down. Something invincible, tightening, holding me down, pressing me, flattening me. My whole body ached. I let out groan after groan. I gasped when I realized I was shrinking. I watched my big hands grow smaller like balloons losing their air. My arms pulled in. The floor seemed to rise up, but I knew I was sinking down, folding in, dropping. In seconds, I would be just a few inches taller than Bradley, still shrinking, sinking into the huge raincoat, disappearing. Disappearing? Yes, I was shrinking too fast. Shrinking too far in a few seconds. I'd be the size of a bug. And then gone. Help me, I screamed. I tried to pull myself upright. I tried to stand tall. I tried to stretch myself up. But I couldn't fight the wave pulling me down. I gripped the side of a door. I tried fight off the panic that swept over me. Tightening my throat kept me from taking the breath. Total mind-numbing panic. I watched Bradley appear to grow taller, and I knew couldn't stop myself. In a few seconds, I would disappear forever. The floor swooped up beneath me. The kitchen light suddenly seemed far away. I felt like a tiny mouse, peering up at the ceiling. "Do something!" I screamed at Bradley. "I can't stop shrinking." He gazed at me, eyes rolling widely in his eyes. "Read the monster blood box," I shouted. "What does it say? Read it." Bradley's hands were shaking as he pulled the box to his face. He twirled it between his hands, searching for instructions. He dropped it. The box hit the floor. He bent to pick it up and stepped on it. "Hurry!" I pleaded. I could feel my bones pulling in, my skin tightening. "Whoa, wait, I found something," Bradley said. Finally, he began reading from the side of the box. "We hope you enjoyed this sample 24-hour version of Blood Monster, but for more exciting results, use for this coupon for 20% off on new, improved, long-lasting Monster Blood. It's just an example." I cried happily. Yes, just an example. And it's wearing off. I ran to the hallway mirror. I gasped at my reflection. Yes! I was back to my normal height. Excellent. I turned and slapped Bradley a high five. Then we bumped knuckles. I'm back, I cried. I hurried to the stairs. "Let's check out my ivy plant," I said. "I bet it's smaller too." Bradley followed me upstairs. I could still hear the alarm siren rolling next door. Why, Bradley stopped short in the doorway to my room and let out a cry. The ivy plant still climbed over the ceiling. It hadn't shrunk like me. It's like something in the jungle," Bradley cried. "I guess monster blood works differently on plants," I said. I didn't care. I was back to normal. We returned to the kitchen and Mum came busting in. "Oh, thank goodness. You're both safe," she cried. "There was a robbery next door. The robbers broke down the front door, but they didn't take anything." I know, I said. "I went next door, Mum, and to help Bradley." Mum cried. "You risked your life to help Bradley, Matt. That's wonderful. So wonderful of you." She wrapped me in a hug. Should I tell the truth? Should I tell her what really happened? No way. She'd never believe it. That night in my room, I cut back leaves on my ivy plant so I could get back to my work table. I felt great. No, I felt better than great. I was back to normal. I'd set the world record in the 500-meter lifestyle, and now I wanted to win the Mrs. Scutto's science prize. I began fitting the side of my birdhouse together. I already had the computer wiring ready to install. I knew I could build the winning project. No way could Bradley build one as good as mine. The next morning, Mum drove me to school with my science project. I carried it carefully between my hands into the gym. Dozens of kids were already there. Long tables had been set up under one basketball net. The big one was quiet. Kids were busy setting up their projects. I carried the bird box down the first aisle. Looking for the place to put it down, I stopped next to Sean Dare, a brainy girl in our class I liked a lot. She was attaching a water hose to the back of a tall plastic box. I had to ask, Sean, what is it? She didn't look up. She concentrated on the hose. It's a waterfall that flies up, she said. I'm trying to prove that gravity doesn't exist. Cool, I said. I moved down the table. Another kid was slipping batteries into the complicated metal contraption. It looks like an insect with a dozen legs. It's a self-destruction machine, he told me. When I turned it on, it totally destroyed itself. Awesome, is that? I said. I still thought my bird box had a good chance of winning. It was simple and useful and really worked. I set it up at the end of the table and checked out the kit for computer functions. When I showed it off to Mr. Scotto, I wanted everything to work without a glitch. A short while later, Mr. Scotto came down the aisle. He studied each project and made notes on a long clipboard. Since I was at the end of the table, he saw my birdhouse last. He was definitely impressed by a temperature control and the built-up in rain guard. He grinned. When I shut off the computerized seed feeder, Matt, you have taken Bradley's idea to a new level, he said. Great imagination. And a computer programming is brilliant. Thank you, I said. I could feel my heart start to race. I was excited. I had to give a few projects a second look. He whispered, and I will need to see Bradley's birdhouse. But I think yours is a winner. He moved back up the aisle. He wanted to cheer and jump up and down in triumph, but I knew I had to wait for that. I gazed down the rows of tables. Whoa, wait, where's Bradley? I don't believe it. I muttered. Bradley hadn't even show up. I guess he couldn't get his birdhouse to work. Or maybe he realized he couldn't win with a stolen idea. I saw Mr. Scotto striding back down the road towards me. He had a big smile on his face, and he carried a silver trophy in his hands. I knew he was about to make a big announcement. Matt, he said. Then the gym doors burst open. I saw a giant tree crash through the doorway. No, not a tree. It took me a few seconds to recognize my huge ivy plant. Its tendrils stretched out like tree branches. The huge leaves bobbed and shook like a ship's sails. Bradley dropped the pot to the floor. He stepped out from behind the monster plant. Ta-da! He sang. Mr. Scatto, I made this plant grow big by using ultraviolet laser light beams. What a liar! Ohs and ahs rose up and echoed off the high gem walls. Some kids started to clap. Kids were gapping at the giant plant and crying out in disbelief. The ivy plant gobbled in his pot like some kind of a moving monster. Growing under the lights, the fat leaves shimmered and shook. The tendrils curled and uncurled like long grass snakes. Mr. Scutto handed Bradley a silver trophy. Our winner. Chairs ran out. I didn't cheer. I was too stunned to do anything. I had to grab the tabletop to keep from falling to the floor. I can't let Bradley get away with this. I decided I can't let him win with his lie. He's a total cheater, and it isn't even his ivy plant, it's mine. I started over to Bradley and Mr. Scotto. I had to tell Mr. Scotto the truth about Bradley's project. I had to stop this. But halfway across the gym, I looked down and saw one of the long, snake-like tendrils curl around Bradley's ankle. Bradley was waving the trophy over his head, enjoying the cheers and applause. He didn't seem to notice. Another long tendril stretched and wrapped itself around Bradley's knee. Bradley held a trophy in the front of him. A pose for pictures, cameras flashed. Bradley's grin grew wider. I watched a thick tendril wrap itself around Bradley's waist. Another one curled around his thigh. Bradley was in major trouble. I had no idea. Would he ever escape? I decided I'd better hurry. I pushed past the crowds of newspaper photographers and shook Bradley's hand. Congratulations, I said. You deserve it, Bradley. You really do. After his battle with Monster Blood, Bradley was thrilled to receive the surprise invitation to HorrorLand theme park. One of the horrors even gave him a special key card that can help him win every game. Matt's luck was improving fast, or so he thought. Matt soon met Billy and Sheena deep. They found a cafe when they saw their missing friends, Brittany and Molly, behind a large window. Matt used his key cards to enter the mysterious cafe and gasped, Brittany and Molly were gone. And Sheena became invincible. What's next? Turn the page to join Matt in HorrorLand. Kids who knew me. Matt Daniels. Know that I can handle things. I mean, if you grow to 9 feet tall under an hour, you can pretty much handle anything. But here I was, starting into the mirror in this tiny cafe in the HorrorLand hotel, 2 girls had vanished into thin air. Another girl stood right beside us, and we couldn't see her. No way I could get my head around this. I froze. I kept blinking, but I couldn't make the room stop spinning. They do lots of weird stuff at HorrorLand. It's a scary theme park. I told myself it's supposed to be creepy, but it's turning kids invincible one of their tricks. My heart pounded, or it's something really dangerous going on. In front of me, the big mirror on the cafe wall shimmered and bubbled as if it were alive. I swung away from a mirror and stared at this kid I had just met, Billy Deep. He and his sister received a surprise invitation to HorrorLand too. Now he didn't look happy about it. Billy's mouth hung open and his eyes were popping out of his head. He looked scared. The cafe stood empty. Just rows of little tables with blue and white checkered tablecloths. Help me! Sheena screamed. Matt, Billy, we've got to do something. I'm invincible. I don't understand, Billy stammered. He was having a lot of trouble getting the words out. I could feel my heart thundering in my chest. I struggled to think clearly. I'm a science freak. I knew there had to be a scientific answer for what was going on here. It's struggled to think clearly. I'm a science freak. I knew there had to be a scientific answer for what was going on here. It's some kind of trick mirror, I asked. When I came into the cafe, I touched the mirror. Sheena said in a shaky voice, I thought I saw Bradley and Miley in it. The mirror felt weird, kind of soft and warm. So it is a trick mirror, I cried. I rushed forward and stuck out my hand. Hey! I shouted as my hand sank into mirror. The mirror was soft and warm, kind of sticky. My hand had plunged in the wrist deep. I could feel the thick liquid pulling my arms deeper. No way! I shouted. I jerked my hand away. Billy ran up beside me and pressed his hand to the mirror. He pounded up with his fist. We both pounded. Solid glass. Now, this has to be a trick, I said. But now can it be soft like liquid 1 second and then? Forget the mirror, Shani screamed. Do something to help me. Did you forget? I'm invincible. You've got to help me. I didn't blame her for using it, but I suddenly had another thought. Maybe Bradley and Molly are standing here. I said, like Sheena, only they're invincible too. Huh. Billy squint at me. I started to shout. Then he joined in. Molly, Brittany, are you here? Can you hear me? Us. Brittany, Molly, I said. Are you still in the cafe with us? Are you here? Okay, so we're going to stop there at page 112. So, looks like an unofficial story of Goosebumps, HorrorLand, Monster Blood for Breakfast. So, I hope you enjoyed that so far when I read Goosebumps stories. I hope you found it more interesting, very entertaining, but is absolutely creepy, mostly spooky. Okay, so I'm going to stop there. I will take a break on the next final part, and then I'll see you a short while.